Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Chapter 6, percents, and we're Lesson 2, fractions, decimals, percents. And here we're writing a decimal as a percent. Percent means per hundred. Already. So what we're doing here is we're going to convert it, there's two ways of thinking about it. Write it as a fraction over 100. That doesn't always work. And this is tenths, hundredths, it's 4 hundredths. So 4 hundredths is really 4%. Percent means per hundredths. Or you could just put the decimal point in the area where the hundredths is, past the hundredths, and that's moving it 2 to the right. Past the tenths, past the hundredths. So you have 4%, because really your number is just hundredths. So here is 803 thousandths. But we need over 100. So this is the hundredths place, tenths, hundredths. So, and the percent sign means hundredths already. So move it once, twice, 80.3 or 80, and 3/10 of 100. Okay, now this one's easy. This is if this square represented 1, 4% each, and it was cut into 100 pieces. Each little square would represent 1%. 2, 3. So 4% of the square would look like this. And this one, 80 and 3/10%. Well, 80% would look like, I'm not going to color the whole thing in. So that would be 80%, and then 3/10%. Well, this would be 3/10 of this square right here. So half would be right about the middle. So it would be about like that much. 0.3%, 80 and 0.3%. So moving the decimal place from decimals to percent is probably the easiest way to do it. One more, so let's move this one. This is 3/10. So if each one of these single squares inside the big squares was 1/100th, the whole row is 3/10 because it takes 10 to make a row. 3/10 would look like this, 2, 3. Well, what percent would that be? Well, how many are filled in? 10, 20, 30. Easier way to do this is the tenths, this is the hundredths. The percent sign means per hundred or hundredths. So move it once, add a 0, move it twice. And you have 30%. You're moving the decimal place 2 places to the right, past the tenths, past the hundredths. And that's converting it to a percent. So now we're taking a fraction and we're converting that to a percent. A little trickier. A whole bunch of ways to do it. That's the tricky part. You're really just saying, here's what you're doing. You're saying 3 is to 20 is what is to 100. And you could do cross products for it. There's a simpler way I'll show you. You can say 2 times 5 is 100. So 3 times 5 is 15. You can just do it as equivalent fractions. The cross product works great. 20x equals 3 times 100, 300. And isolate the x, 20. Get x equals 30 divided by 20, which is 15. Okay, the shortcut here, when converting a fraction to a percent, it's just, all fractions are division problems. Just divide the numerator by the denominator. So simply tip it over this way and say 3 divided by 20. Goes once, and I have 20. I can add another 0 here, bring it down. 100 divided by 20 is 5. And I have now, my decimal point goes straight up. 15 hundredths is the same as 15%. You could have used a calculator, be just the same. Okay, let's do another one. 2 ways to do it. Cross products. 5 is to 12 as what is to 100. So I have 12x. 12x equals 500. In the interest of saving time, let's use a calculator. I'm going to divide each side by 12. To isolate the x equals, and I get this big number here. I get, so I get 500 divided by 12. I get 41.666666. Okay, so my answer is in percents when I do the cross products already. So I look to the tenths, and if that's 5 or more, increase the score. 4 or less, no changes best. It's more than 5, 5 or more, so it's 42%. 42%. Now the other way is simply divide 5 divided by 12. And I get the answer in a decimal form. So 5 divided by 12, I get 0.41666. When I divide the numerator by the denominator, I still have to convert from decimal to percent. So you move it 2 to the right, 41.666, and that rounds to 6. Increase the score to the 1%. That's 42%. Okay. So 5 divided by 12 is 41, is 0.141666. Here's the hundredths place. Look 1 to the right. It rounds to 2. So it's 0.42 or 42 hundredths, 42%. And the kind of tricky thing is when you divide the numerator by the denominator, you're going to get a decimal form. When you do cross products, your answer is already going to be in percent form. So once again, dividing numerator by denominator, you get a decimal form, convert it to a percent. Cross product, right to a percent. Let's look at another one. So we have number 17, 60 baseball fans were asked whether they thought the designated hitter rule should be changed. 41 fans thought the rule should be changed. They didn't say changed which league we're talking about, but designated hitter means somebody who doesn't play the field gets to hit in baseball. So 41 fans, 41 out of 60. So 41 out of 60 thought it should be changed. Now the easiest way is to simply divide. I can get a calculator if I want. To save time, I'll just do that to show you guys. Divide 41 divided by 60, and I get 0.68. 0.68, and then repeating threes. So when you divide the numerator by the denominator, you get it in decimal form. So this is tenths, hundredths. So I move the decimal once, twice. And then just round to the nearest percent. 3 or 5 or more increase the score. 4 or less, no change is best. So this stays 68%. Okay, 68% or is the answer. 68% thought it should be changed. So cross products would work as well. I could have said 41 over 60 equal to something over 100. It's the same kind of principle. So I get 4100 equals 60x. Divide each side by 60. Divide this side by 60. And 4100 divided by 60 equals, now it's already in percent form, it's 68.3. So cross products, it's already in percent form, 68.3, and that rounds to the nearest 1%, 68%. Okay, so the secret word is baseball.